Monday, October 24th, as we get into stuff from there. Let's see. Grades, as we've talked with you guys already, we only have 2 grades in there so far, which are the 2 homework assignments from before break. We do have 3rd grade, well, technically 3 and 4 coming up this week. 1, you have a homework assignment this week, but it's not due till next week. I'll assign it Wednesday, and it'll be due like Monday or Tuesday of next week. It's the one that you're technically already working on, the highlighting that you're doing in the book. You're going to be making the connections between the people in your life and the things in the book, so you'll be doing 10 of those, so that's the thing that you've been working on. And then Friday, we'll have our first quiz overbook, which goes up through page 74. And I will try to read as much of that with you guys as possible. But there will be, at some point, you'll have to read some on your own. Let's see, the bully questions, we've got almost all of those answered, except for one kid who's going to try and get it in. And then we're down in this class, only 2 kids left who are still working on these 2. And see here. I did talk to you guys about buying food, so I just wanted to make sure it's my last time to mention that before and after class. As long as you have over 25 points, you are always welcome to, but again, you guys are during lunch, so I imagine you could just buy your food there if you wanted to. With our book, the connections that you guys have been making so far. I am curious to see what connections you guys have come up with. So, open book, look in book, find one of your connections, because I'm getting ready to call on you, and you're just going to have to tell me what connection or what thing is in the book, and then who it connects to in your life. So, as an example, let's see if I can go past the part that I read with you that you guys had to do on your own. For me, on page 24, it says there's 2 7th graders who in one day have already gotten a reputation of being obnoxious. That's all. No particular kid that may be connected to who, within a day, had figured out that they were obnoxious. You can figure out whichever one you think it would be from there. And then you can make your obnoxious means annoying and irritating and stuff like that. So.
I was quiet today, so not me.
Says the kid on the phone talking right now.
You gave me permission.
Yes, not continually.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to go off on both of my brothers.
Yes, I would agree. Then back to you guys. Let's see what kind of things you guys were able to come up with from there. We'll go with Luke.
I'm trying to find the best one I can. I found like 20, so I need
That's
to find
good.
the best one.
I know. Were you clearing your throat to figure out how to clear off your desk and get out your iPad?
That's what I'm working on.
Okay, I can understand. It takes a lot of work to get there.
But I dropped all my stuff.
Luke, just pick one.
Fine.
Okay.
Victory.
Victory?
What?
Okay.
Victorious.
And how does that connect?
Because I've had victories before.
In basketball?
Like in basketball and baseball and stuff.
Just checking.
Life.
Harrison.
200
Doing nasty things to people that really tick you off.
Ew!
And how does that connect? Whoa. How does that connect?
To you.
Oh, and the fact that you want to do horrible things to me because I annoy you?
What?
Is-
No, you do that to
what
other
it means.
people.
Oh, like the kids who would make noise while sitting in Struggle Town and then going down to 5 points? Oh, I like that reference. It's solid.
Dang.
Honestly, God, I almost want to die today.
I do, because they're still talking and yet they're not. Kenny!
You ain't gonna do me.
The thing is on. You can't do. Oh no, that hurt.
No, it's so awful.
Wait. No, not the heavens. They're already broken.
My keys.
You didn't want. Sorry, Kenny, I was helping a child. Hi, Kenny, what's up?
Okay, it says rolled his eyes back, but I crossed it out and wrote her. Rolled her eyes back so far you could almost hear them turning in her head.
And
Apparently, I roll my eyes a lot.
are you unaware of your eye rolling?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I can see.
You put my book on the ground, right?
Aubrey!
Hi.
Hi, Aubrey.
Okay, so it says, she's out there like a little princess, and my middle name is Belle, and that's a princess.
I can make that connection. Her middle name is Belle,
And what is Belle?
and she considers herself a princess.
Like,
No,
Beauty and the Beast.
I'm pretty sure I read between the lines, and that's what you were trying to go with on that one, so it all made sense to me, so you're good.
Slay.
Okay.
Brian!
Hi. Mine was, I turned my brain off, like, building a test, like, my brain's, like, it turns off.
During a test? You should at least wait till after the test, but okay. I can see where that would have a connection. The rest of you, we're going to pick on more people again tomorrow.
Yeah!
If you've not found one yet, don't worry. We're going to keep picking on you each day until it comes due. We're going to try and help you.
It's work like I'm winning all my
Alright, so in theory, the day that I was dead, you were supposed to read up to about page 31.
Yep.
If you have not read up to page 31, you're going to be lost because I'm going to be talking about parts of the book up to there, and then we'll start reading at that point. So we're going to go through and try to help you out. I have a few picture-y things, and we'll try and do a rewinding thing. Let's go with... story starts off with the wedding at the gazebo out in the cemetery, and we find out the main character and all of those people. Shirley Temple, I am not playing the video again because you guys have your own access to YouTube. You can dance to Shirley Temple all you want and talk about those little animal crackers that are in your soup.
I have to drink the yesterday.
Yeah, play it.
Animal crackers.
And then this was when we then get a chance to meet Austin Pace, who is the kid that's really good at running that Jared hates. And it talks about him being at the top of the thing and then running all the way across it. And then the chronometer, which is just a fancy name for a stopwatch. The alligator, which is what I tend to do to a lot of you guys when you make poor child. Childs, I make poor choices and I smile at you, and yet you don't feel warm on the inside. And you're like, your eyes are smiling, but the inside of me feels like death. Hi, kid who still has not done any work, sitting there the entire time.
I asked you a question, he did.
That's funny, I wasn't talking to him. I was talking to the kid sitting in Struggletown doing no work. If I wanted to talk to Jalen, I would talk to Jalen. Jalen, did you do your work? That's why you're sitting in your chair. See me smiling at you? It's the best smile of all.
No,
That you don't need on the ground? Correct, because all you need is the iPad. That's why it's on your desk.
on the ground.
Correct, because I didn't want you using your book. I wanted you doing the homework. See me
Oh!
smiling at you?
I love homework.
Isn't the crocodile and the alligator? The crocodile has like a
Longer snout?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the alligator
Is that a
has bigger.
crocodile right there?
Probably. Although I googled alligator to find it, but maybe it's a good angle. It
Why
just
does it
makes
sound like
makes
that?
his face look
That
thin.
one looks like a alligator. Those look like crocodiles.
Good jawline.
And then we talked about
Scratch.
as he's reading. Oh, I didn't know if you guys knew what a cigarette butt was. It talks about crushing the cigarette butt. I'm assuming when you guys are hanging out with your friends on the weekend smoking, that's when you guys would know about the cigarette butt.
What? My parents would kill me.
You do realize you're now at 4 points, right?
Oh, yeah.
I know.
You're at 4 points.
No, 4 points.
I talk a lot.
I know.
Didn't we get 50 points from?
I'm like my ancestors. We're monkeys, and we talk a lot.
I don't think that's a connection to make at all. Interesting. So, brushing off the cigarette butt from there. And then that was the Tyson and Jared, and they get into their yelling and argument fight with each other. This was, because what sport is it that Jared... Track. And that's when he does all the fast running, and they have the call out. Although their track is in the fall, and ours is in the spring, which is kind of weird. And then this is where we left off with them hanging out in their little tree housey thing as they were going through and doing the talking.
That was nice shit.
So let's see. Who is Jared Mercer in the story?
A guy.
There you go. Main character. Let's see. And what is he good at doing?
Running.
There you go. And who is Cheryl Gannett?
Mom.
Question. Some
Twin.
Character.
a kid.
Side character.
So this would be his best friend that he's
Yeah.
talking about, that he is currently talking to while sitting up there in the treehouse. What is she really good at? Or sorry, who does she not like?
Rebecca.
She does not like Rebecca, because what is Rebecca better at doing?
Singing.
There you go. And then Randall Garrett? Or Gannett?
He can roll his eyes.
He can roll his eyes, but so can every teenager.
Brother.
Well,
Whose brother?
Jared.
It's his best friend.
His best
friend's
friend,
brother.
whatever her name is.
So Cheryl's brother. Good use of the last names on that one. And then I have nothing special with him. Rebecca.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Rebecca is the one that's the Shirley Temple. How is she related to Cheryl and Randall?
Because she
She's
can
an
sing.
child.
Oh, I mean,
cousin.
The Cheryl's cousin.
my bad.
And who's Austin Pace?
The runner.
Good
Nicely
runner.
done. So he is the also nicknamed Lost in Space. And he is the one that Jared does not like because he's a jerk to him.
to Jerry.
Tyson McGaw.
Tyson McGaw is wait.
Tyson Fury.
That's
Uncle.
kid. That's
Not little
Kid
kid.
who gets in
Oh,
front of
He think it's twice.
Oh, yeah.
So he's the one that's the kind of creepy one that
The
gets
one that
in
he
the
was
fight.
eavesdropping.
The one that he says was eavesdropping.
Yeah.
Nicely done. And then Coach Mercer.
It's a coach of the
There
track.
you go. He was the coach of the track.
She's taking
That's
straight to the
it.
booth. Just joking.
Now we can pick up and keep reading. So we'll go to page 30. I'm rewinding a little bit from where you hopefully left off just to try and remind you because there's a chance you've slept once or twice since the last time. And your brains may not be
I
all there.
stopped at 38.
Well, you're a little bit farther than us. Go you, Flexi.
Thank you. Yes,
So we're going to get to right in the middle where it says, let's see. Now that we had stopped, I began to feel it too.
I forget
It's
where
literally a giant thing right there.
Shirley.
It's okay, I won't make fun of you.
Was that 30?
Now that we had because of the giant screen. Now that we had stopped, I began to feel it too. Well, because they were in the process of talking about what horrible things they wanted to do to people.
Yeah.
Well, it was your idea. Thanks. Now I feel worse. Sorry. Then I gave her own speech back. It's only words. It's only like sticking your tongue out at them. That's all. Like you said, it's only pretend. We're not hurting anybody. Right. It gets all of our frustrations out, so we don't go around being angry at them all day. Right. Somehow I still don't think I convinced her. Well, I didn't convince myself either. I couldn't. Not when my mind was still filled with all those nasty, ridiculous things that could be brought down upon Lost in Space. What bothered me most was that, like Cheryl said, it was fun. I didn't like feeling that it was fun. I moved closer to Cheryl. Somehow I felt that moving closer to her would make that creepy feeling go away. Do you really hate Austin? Cheryl asked. I couldn't see her talking now. It was too dark. I could just barely make out her shape against the trees behind her. I don't know. Do you really hate Rebecca? Cheryl sighed and didn't answer for a long time. Then she said, it's not really hate. She's my cousin. I care about her, but sometimes I think she enjoys making me feel lousy. Yeah, I know Austin does. Do you really hate Austin, Jared? I don't know. I really didn't know. It's all gotten so confused. She thought for a good long time. Well, would you be happy if Austin Pace moved far away? She asked, very matter-of-factly. Yes. Would you be happy if he got hurt so bad that he couldn't run fast? I don't think so. I think I'd feel sorry for him. How about if he died? Cheryl, come on. Sorry, dumb question. She was silent for a long, long time. She was thinking about something, I could tell, and she finally spoke very quietly and slowly. I know what the real question is. The real question to find out whether or not you hate him. What? The question is, if there were a way for you to make it happen, would you wish that Austin Pace had never been born? The cold of the night hit me just then, but I don't think it was just the cold. It was something more. Something inside, not out. And it was because I knew the answer to that question, and I didn't like that answer at all. Would you? Yeah. And then she whispered back, I know how that feels. The breeze played with the dying leaves above us. The chill got stronger. Before, I just felt nasty. Now I felt weird. Weird and uncomfortable. With myself, with that question, do I wish Lost in Space had never been born? Yes. Yes, I wish that. As much as I hated myself for wishing that, deep down, really deep down, I did feel that way. And I couldn't change that. It was scary. Cheryl.
Wait. What are you doing?
Yeah, we're reading. You're doing work with me right now.
That don't make no sense.
What, that you can't do homework at home like a normal child? I agree, and yet it doesn't happen.
You just told me to do this.
Yeah.
Now you want me to do
You
it.
already watched the video. We watched it in class.
But just based off of the video.
Correct.
I know. I got the
Cheryl, I'm spooked out. Me too, she said. It's getting cold. Maybe we should go in? Cheryl went first, and I followed her down. You really do feel that way too, huh? I don't want to talk about that anymore. Let's talk about something else. But we didn't talk about anything nice. We didn't talk much about anything at all. That good feeling we had when we first climbed into the treehouse was gone and wouldn't come back for the rest of the night. We went in, watched 10 minutes of TV with her brother, then I hopped on my bike and rode home. I tried to chase that eerie feeling away by burying my head in that first night's homework. I highlighted that part about burying my head in homework and wrote out to the side certain students in my class who should probably try doing homework at home. Snap. It worked. By morning, the feeling was gone. I felt like my old self and went on as if what we had discovered about ourselves in the treehouse that night meant absolutely nothing at all. Ignoring that night was a mistake. Not the first one, and not the last one either. Maybe that feeling was meant to be a warning, a bright red alarm flashing in our eyes. If it was, we were both too stupid to notice it. And I'm assuming all of you just highlighted that part about being too stupid to notice things and then just wrote your own name out to the side. It's okay. I completely understand.
I already did it once, so don't do it again.
Chapter 3, The Fire and the Agony. Do I have a new picture yet? I think. Do you guys know who the Tasmanian?
Yeah, Tasmanian devil.
They're going to talk about that. So, in case you were unaware, the Looney Tunes Tasmanian Devil is actually connected to an actual creature. It's from a place in Australia called Tasmania, and there's a little animal that's called the Tasmanian Devil because even though it's super small, it is really good at killing things. And one of the ways it kills things is it bites onto whatever it wants to kill, and then it spins its body like a shark does, and thus breaking the neck of whatever it is that it has bought. Or not bought, whatever it has bit. It does not buy things, it has no money. And that's where the idea of this guy came in, who spins around like a tornado, because that's how they attack. They bite you and then spin in a circle to break your neck. And so in a moment they're going to make a reference to it. Hi, Jonathan.
Like a crocodile?
Like a crocodile. You know, it bites you and then spins in the water. It's like a furry land crocodile. It's a thing. People were... Hi, what's up?
Can they do that to humans?
I mean, they're pretty small, so if they wanted to, but it's like, they're like the size of a large cat. So I don't think it's nearly as scary. You'd be like, what are you doing? Stop it! And you would just throw it to the side. People were milling around the phys ed bulletin board before classes. Ours wasn't the only team choosing captains that day, and everyone there waited impatiently for each coach to put up the results. I wasn't one of the kids waiting. I mean, okay, sure, I wanted to be captain, but I didn't want to think about it. The more I thought about it, the more worried I would get, and I'd feel miserable until the results went up. It was better to think about anything else until then. I thought about my new teachers, my old friends, what I would have for lunch, anything but the track team and Austin Pace and his $1 million Aeropeds that never got dirty and looked like they came from planet Krypton or someplace like that. I wandered around a bit before the homeroom bell rang, looking for people I hadn't seen the day before. People really do change in one summer. Charlie Garcia's had grown like 6 inches since June, and half of everyone I knew seemed to have gotten rid of their braces. I talked to Ralphie Sherman, who said that he made a movie in Hollywood over the summer. Ralphie was always good for a laugh because he never uttered a word of truth in his entire life. And I can imagine that many of you have people you could connect that to who probably never tell the truth and lie all the time. Ralphie plays a big role throughout the book where he keeps telling these stories that get bigger and bigger and worse. Pretty soon, I forgot all about the track team and I was in a good mood. Such a good mood, I even said hello to Tyson McGaw. He grunted back and then 5 minutes later he got himself into a fight with some kid whose name I don't even remember. Watching Tyson get into fights was a school tradition. Personally, I never got into a real fight with him. Like I said before, Tyson fought like an animal. I wanted nothing to do with that. Just looking at him, you could tell that something wasn't quite right. His eyes were kind of far away, like he wasn't seeing you, and his stringy matted hair was just plain ugly. It seemed no amount of combing could help that. Tyson was definitely not a mother's dream. Mr. Green saw... I'm scared to know if any of you guys highlighted that part and wrote a name next to it. That's okay. The part where it says he was so ugly he was not a mother's dream. I'm assuming younger siblings.
Yeah.
Mr. Green saw the fight and ran down the hall. Mr. Green was the vice principal that doubled as the school guidance counselor, which must have been a tough job since so many kids go wacko during junior high. Oh, I absolutely highlighted that in my book and put out to the side, true that, because it just connects like every student.
What?
Oh, that's it. See, many kids go wacko during junior high.
What's that mean?
Wacko.
Wacko.
Who is kids?
Every kid that I see.
What's wacko? What do you mean wacko?
No, I'm not wacko.
That finger
I'm
doesn't
not
wacko.
wacko.
Like psycho.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a teen.
You're all so
okay.
totally innocent. Trust me.
Not a child, I'm a teen.
I'm not innocent. I'm not.
After Mr. Green had broken up the fight, which wasn't much of a fight, it was more like Tyson doing an impersonation of the Tasmanian devil. Tasmanian devil. Everyone in the hall began to applaud and laugh at Tyson as he continued struggling with Green. I have to admit, I laughed a little too. Like I said, it was a school tradition. Mr. Green held him as he struggled, and then Tyson turned to Green and screamed out a whole lot of words I don't want to repeat. And then started breathing like a bull ready to charge. "You know what he did?" screamed at Green. "What did he do, Tyson?" "He called me a slime ball."
Slime.
I laughed
I thought
right
it was
away.
an S.
I just couldn't help it. It was the way he said it, with all that anger in his voice, long and drawn out. "Slime ball." Everyone laughed. I guess I must have laughed the loudest because Tyson broke away from Green and stomped up to me. "You think that's funny, huh?" he yelled, almost ready to pull back his fist and hit me.
Nope.
"You touch me, Tyson, and I swear I'll flatten you. I'll hang you by your toenails over a bear trap." That one really sent him for a loop. Remember, that was the reference they made before when they were talking about ways to torture Austin, so he was just referencing that. He looked at me with those weird eyes, trying to figure out how that would feel. For a split second, I felt bad for him. Here he was, this nutty kid in a frenzy, and everyone was laughing at him. He must have felt terrible. I almost felt like saying, "It's okay, Tyson, you're not a slime ball, just take it easy," just to make him feel better. But then everyone around me began to laugh even harder, and Tyson stormed off. Green gave me this dirty look that said, "Bear trap? I'll give you a bear trap," and then ran after Tyson. Well, school was the same as ever. As the homeroom bell rang, I heard a voice behind me. "Jared, I'd like to speak with you for a minute." I recognized that voice right away. I turned to see Coach Schuler. You know that feeling you get when you think something great is going to happen and your heart misses a beat and you get shivers down your spine? Well, that's what I felt just then. Why would Coach Schuler pull me aside to talk to me unless he had good news for me about the captaincy? I highlighted that part about the feeling you get when something great is going to happen, your heart misses a beat, and out to the side I put down kids turning in homework. "Hi, Coach. What's up?" I said cheerfully. "You got a minute?" "Yeah." "Great. Why don't you come into my office?" I followed him down the hall and into the gym where it was much quieter. Our footsteps echoed in the huge, empty gym as we crossed it. It was cold and the air had the sour smell of the floor varnish. We went into the gym office. "Have a seat." Then he picked up his clipboard and began to look at it. He sat in the other chair behind the desk. "I totaled up the results." "Yeah?" I said, trying to sound like I didn't really... "Yeah?" I said, trying to sound like I didn't really care. "It was pretty close." "Yeah?" He looked up from his clipboard. I really couldn't read his expression. He had a poker face, I guess. I mean, you could never tell what was in his head. He stalled, keeping me in suspense. I didn't have a poker face. I knew all the expectation was in my eyes. In my lap, I had my fingers crossed so hard, my knuckles were turning white. You didn't get it, Jared. I'm sorry." At first, it was like I didn't quite hear him. My fingers were still crossed, as if crossing them could change what he had said. I still held my breath, but then what my ears had heard made its way into my brain. You know that sinking feeling? The kind you get about 10 seconds before you realize that you're going to throw up? Well, I didn't feel like I was going to throw up, but that sinking feeling stayed around for a long time. Before I went into his office, I'd been prepared to lose. But then he called me in, and I was sure that I had won. Why couldn't he have just let me find out when he posted it? I could have handled that. It wouldn't have been so bad. I would have just looked and walked away. But now he had gotten my hopes up, and I couldn't just walk away. I had to sit there, feel lousy. Like I said, it was a close race. You and Austin were neck and neck all the way. He began to fiddle with his clipboard. If it wasn't his clipboard, it was his whistle. If it wasn't his whistle, it was his glasses. He always fiddled with something. Listen, I know how much you wanted to be captain. And because of all your hard work, I'm going to make you a very special offer. As runner-up, you are entitled to something very special. So I'm making you assistant coach. Assistant coach? I said. It might not sound so bad to you, but you have to understand that assistant coach was a position usually given to some younger kid who was not a good enough runner to be on the team. He might as well have told me I was team mascot. Assistant coach? That's right. Well, what do I get to do? Take attendance, get equipment, stuff like that. Well, what was I supposed to say to that? Austin gets all the glory and power of being team captain, and I get to take attendance. I tried to be enthusiastic, but I just couldn't. And the coach could see it in my eyes. I didn't have a poker face. Thanks. You don't seem too happy about it. No, I'm happy. I'm just a little upset about not being captain, that's all. Oh, yeah. Sure, I understand. You can hang around here for a few minutes if you like. I'll give you a late pass for homeroom. No, that's okay. I'm sure he could tell by my voice that it wasn't okay. I didn't have a poker voice either. Listen, there's always high school. Right. Silently thinking how Lost in Space would win again when we were seniors in high school. Yeah, thanks. It's the least I could do. You're a good kid, Jared. I feel bad for you. No, don't feel bad for me. I don't want you feeling bad for me. No, I mean, I think sometimes life gives people the short end of the stick, you know, and I think you deserve more. Thanks, I said for the 1200th time. See you this afternoon? Yeah, be early so you can take attendance. I think we'll stop there. We'll get a little break before we get into our next fight. We'll start that tomorrow with our next fight.
We're on page 41.
Those of you who did not get a chance to share today, I will call on you guys tomorrow.
Yes.
Not all of you, because some of you have to wait till Wednesday, and we'll get a chance to call on you then.
Yes.
Well, I want you to feel like we've bonded and connected. I don't want you to feel sad like you've missed out. That would make some of us so sad. No one wants